Hi, this is International Master David Proust for Chess.com, and I'm just going to do a quick rundown of yesterday's chess news. Right now it's the morning of September 27th, but yesterday afternoon and evening, September 26th, there was some big chess news. Before I get into the two events that I watched yesterday, I just wanted to quickly mention an announcement I saw for the upcoming Tal Memorial, named after Mikhail Tal, the world champion and sacrificial genius from Riga, Latvia. The Tal Memorial will be in November 16th to 25, and the announcement of the player list has the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 players in the world. Carlsen, Anand, Aronian, Kramnik, Karyakin. Then it has the winner of the recent World Cup, Peter Svidler. It has Boris Gelfand, who will be challenging Anand for the World Championship match next year. And it has Yvonne, number 7 in the world, and Hikaru Nakamura, the top U.S. player, also at about number 10 in the world. So this has the best lineup of any tournament I've seen in a long time, and that is pretty exciting. We'll have to watch that tournament when it happens. Meanwhile, there's another big tournament going on right now, which is the Grand Slam finals. There isn't really an official Grand Slam in chess the way there is in tennis, but still there are some super tournaments that have been happening on a yearly basis. And the point of the Grand Slam finals is sort of like consider those tournaments to be a Grand Slam and pick like the winners from each of those tournaments and have them play a small tournament against each other at the end of the year. So that tournament, again, has the top 3 players in the world, Carlsen, Anand, and Aronian. It also has Nakamura and Yvonne and Vallejo Pons of Spain, who I believe has been invited by the organizers as kind of a wild card pick because I don't think he won a super tournament that I didn't hear about. Nakamura from the U.S. got in by winning Wei-Kan-Zhe in January this year. And in the first day's action, there was a matchup between Vishy Anand, the world champion, and Magnus Carlsen, who by a tiny margin is currently the top-rated player in the world. This game ended in what many would consider a slightly boring draw, but I would say the game was interesting and unfathomable, so I can't really comment on it. Carlsen played the Berlin defense and got to an opposite-colored bishop endgame. Meanwhile, there was another slightly less thrilling draw between Nakamura and Ivanchuk. Now, this tournament uses a special rule where the players can't offer each other draws unless the arbiter of the tournament agrees. So that's designed to have longer, more interesting games. Yet they had 2 games finishing in under 30 moves yesterday. Is that a problem? No, I don't think so in this case because both games were clearly going to be boring draws at that point. I mean, if they'd played them out, it would have been boring to play more moves. There was no reason for 4 of the top players in the world to keep playing those positions. I think the arbiter made a great decision to put those draw offers through and end the games there, and it's not a problem. The tournament also uses another rule intended to reduce the draws in chess, and that is the soccer scoring system of 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, 0 for a loss. And the only person to score those 3 points in the first round was Yvonne Aronian playing against Vallejo Pons. It was a very, very exciting game, which deserves its own video, so that is coming up next. You can check for that. There will be a video on Aronian versus Pons that I will be doing. In other news, the U.S. Chess League had the start of Week 5 matches yesterday. There were 4 matches, and the standings have really tightened up because all 3 teams which had worse records defeated 3 teams that had better records than them. So the standings are all sort of getting very close in the U.S. Chess League. In the East, there were wins for New England over Boston. New England also is a Boston team, so it was sort of like the cross-city match, although I've heard that the Boston team this year doesn't actually play in Boston. They play from another nearby town, whereas the New England team actually is in Boston, funnily enough. So that was Boston is a very good team. New England was having a bad year after winning the season last year. In their first season, they won, but this season they started off with 1 draw and 3 lost matches. Yesterday they beat Boston thanks to a big win by Grandmaster Sam Shanklin on board 1. And If these results hold for the second set of matches of the week, tomorrow night, Wednesday night is the second night, then you could expect to see St. Louis with a 1-3 record upset Chicago, which is 4-0, and you could expect to see Seattle upset San Francisco. But I think Chicago's unbeatable, and I intend, since I'm playing, to make sure that San Francisco does not lose to Seattle tomorrow. So we'll see. Right now in the East, every single team is in contention for the playoffs, basically, with the exception, I would say, of New Jersey. And we'll have to see the results tomorrow to know what the story is in the West. But hopefully St. Louis and Seattle won't be shaking up the standings, even though that would be interesting for everyone else, because I don't want to see my team lose. And that is the news for September 26th. Be sure to check out some further videos I'm going to do about the actual games from these events. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you around on Chess.com.